I'm not the bad guy because I threatened to send my stepmother to jail. As background information, my parents have been divorced for over 10 years, and me and my siblings met my father's new girlfriend about 4 years ago. Our non-yet stepmother always had a certain dislike towards us, and we didn't like her either. She's always subtly implied that she doesn't like us. We have often tried to tell this to our father, but he is the quiet type. He never gets involved and believes that we should feel educated by her. I moved out 1 year ago. Now I have learned that my father and his girlfriend are planning to get married. Her idea. Even though our family has never been financially well off, my stepmother wants to have a big celebration. Now here's the problem. She is demanding financial support from all of us children for the celebration, because we are family too. My sister is kind-hearted and even offered to help voluntarily, but my brother and I were super annoyed. When I refused to give her a single buck and suggested that she should just make the celebration smaller, she flipped out, and we had a heated argument. After that, we didn't have any contact for a few days until I suddenly received a notification that a certain amount of money was missing from my bank account. It turned out that my crazy stepmother had her hands in our accounts. Since I had a good relationship with my father, he had access to one account, which money she simply took. It wasn't a significant amount, but when she refused to return the money, I threatened to report her to the police for theft. All the relatives think that I was to prevent the wedding, and they said, "Don't make such a fuss. Family is more important than money, blah blah blah." But I'm angry and waiting to see if she returns it, or if I actually go through with it. So what do you think? I'm not the bad guy for saying I'm not allowing my daughter to call me by my first name just because my stepdaughter does. My wife has a 13-year-old daughter from her first marriage. She obviously calls me by my first name, and she has a very present and active dad. My wife and I also have a 4-year-old daughter and a 10-month-old son. Originally, my daughter was calling me daddy. Recently, she's been calling me by my first name. I let it go for a bit, but after a few months, it wasn't ending. I know it's innocent and she's only doing it because her sister is. I don't make a big deal of it. For example, if she says, "Can I please have juice, Justin?" I will respond, "Daddy will get you some juice." I've gently told her before I'm dad, daddy. Her sister calls me by my first name because she already has a dad. I'm not offended by this at all. I guess it's normal. I just want to correct it now, versus it become a habit and it never ends. Especially as we have a younger child who will soon be learning to talk. My wife thinks I'm overreacting and she'll just let her call me whatever she wishes. She claims if our kids call her by her first name, she wouldn't care. But they never has, so I think it's easy to say. I'm not on a power trip. I just think it's okay to want to be called dad, as long as I'm gently correcting her, not making a big deal. It shouldn't matter. The other night, my daughter asked for something using my first name. I said, "Dad will get it." And she actually corrected herself, saying, "Oh, yeah, please, Daddy." My wife rolled her eyes and said I had broken her spirit. Was I wrong to gently correct her on this? I'm not the bad guy for refusing to pay for my brother's fiance's wedding dress that I stained. My brother's fiancée Emma and my brother Jonathan were getting married. My brother's fiancée has 2 kids, 6 and 7, and they're both boys. Emma bought a wedding dress that was very expensive and wanted to brag it to the whole family. So she decided to display it in the middle of the kitchen where kids are horse playing. Honestly, just by the sound of that, it already is a disaster. Well, everyone was socializing and drinking. I was holding a glass of wine while talking to a childhood friend when suddenly one of her kids runs into me, causing the wine to fly and it got all over the wedding dress. Her kid got up and started to cry. Emma was furious and she cried too. Everyone looked at me like it was my fault. My brother told me to leave. That night I was contemplating what had happened when I get a call from my brother. He sounded upset and was talking aggressively, demanding for me to pay for the damages I had caused. I told him why he's not blaming the kid. His excuse was he's just a kid. Don't bring him into this. You did the damage and she'll take responsibility for it. I was shocked and told him that he ran into me and asked him why I was getting all the blame. He then ended the call with I don't care, just pay for the damage. Long story short, I called him back and explained to him that I will not be paying for the dress. He was angry and started shouting on the phone saying I'm the biggest bad guy he had ever met for not taking responsibility for my actions. I then asked him what actions I caused, but he kept repeating himself saying just to pay for the dress and we can forget about everything. I told him I will not be paying thousands of dollars because a kid was running around and ran into me causing the wine to fly and stain the dress. Later that night, his wife called me and was angry, calling me names like coward, bastard, witch, bad guy, and etc. I was upset, didn't let my emotions take over me. I stopped her midway talking and asked where the idea of displaying an expensive white dress in the middle of kitchen came from. She didn't answer the question and started to call me names again. I hung up and blocked her. After that, everyone in my family started contacting me. Mom, sister, brother. They were sending me text messages calling me a bad guy. To end the conflict, I paid them $2,500 and regret doing it, but it's whatever now. The only thing that got me upset was that I don't understand why her child didn't get any part of the blame. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for asking the woman I've been seeing to politely ask for things from me instead of demanding it from me? I've been seeing this woman for more than half a year now. I'm Chinese and she's Russian, but we've been living in Australia for a while now. Both of us live in the same unidorm. She has these things where when she requests for something from me, she does not just ask for it. Like, instead of asking, hey, can I please have this? She goes, give me this and that, in a very demanding tone, and it makes me uncomfortable. In the past, I've pointed out that it's coming across as rude and asked her to ask politely. She listened. Today we were hanging in my room. I was studying when she came up to me and said, give me your laptop, I need to pay my rent. In a short and direct manner without smiling. It did not sound friendly at all. I told her that sounded so demanding and it's coming across as rude, and asking her if she could use phrases like, could you please? She got mad at me and said I'm picking on her English. I told her I'm not, but just asking her to ask in another way since she's coming across as rude. Then she said it's only problem that existed in the English language and it shouldn't matter. She got really mad. In the end, she left my room and went back to hers. From my point of view, I was just simply communicating with her about what's making me uncomfortable and made a simple request for her to ask questions instead of demanding things from me. Even when I asked her for things, I got with, hey, may I please? I was a bit surprised when she got mad at me. As for the problem that only existed in the English part, my stand is that different languages have different ways of expressing emotions and tones, and since we are speaking in English, we shall follow the ways the English language express politeness and friendliness and avoid sounding rude. She's been pushing me to make her my girlfriend, but I've been hesitant, and her demanding things from me is one of the reasons why. I told to her multiple times about her way of requesting things, but she still didn't listen. I'm the beggar for asking the woman I've been seeing to politely ask for things from me instead of demanding it from me. A woman I have been seeing for over half a year has been demanding things from me instead of asking. Today she did it again. Asked her to ask in a more polite way, and she got mad at me. So, what do you think? I'm the bad guy for not upgrading my sister to suit with the rest of our siblings. This summer, my sibling and I had the opportunity to take a vacation together, something we have not been able to do in the past due to our time and scheduling conflicts, as we are all busy with work, school, and family life. There is 5 of us. I'm the oldest and married, and my younger brother had a week off of work that he asked us to help him plan something for. We all decided to take an all-inclusive weekend vacation that my younger sister found a good deal for, which was within all of our price range. I'm sharing a room with our siblings, my brother and sharing another room, and my younger sister is in a room by herself. All the planning and details went smoothly until I received an email last week that we were eligible to bid for an upgrade to better room or status. The upgrade will include unlimited drinks and dining at all the restaurants, not just the ones included with our original basic room package, and access to the VIP lounges. I ended up impulsively putting in big for myself, and because I had done the booking for my younger brothers, put a bid in from them as well. To my surprise, our bids were accepted immediately, something I wasn't expecting. I called my younger sister to tell her to place a bid for an upgrade as well, and because it was expensive, offered to pay for half of her upgrade. It's been 2 days now, and it doesn't look like her bid was accepted. We called the resort, and they said the status we were upgraded to had been fully booked. Her room level is now 3 grades below ours, with a separate dining area, separate amenities, and it doesn't look like she's being low into the VIP lounges we're in. We have tried to think of ways to sneak her in our lounges, restaurants, but she's acting like we left her behind, and has become moppy and sad. She's making sarcastic comments about keeping it to herself in her poor person section, and it's making everyone feel guilty. The whole trip was initially her idea, and I don't think it's anyone's problem but her own if she didn't get the upgrade like the rest of us. I'm stressed now that this will ruin our vacation together, so I'm the bad guy here for upgrading to a nicer room. I'm the bad guy for backing out of social events once I found out my friend's daughter is going. My childhood friend Shelley and I have grown up together and remained friends our whole life. I have a family of all boys, as does she, except her youngest, which is a girl. Our kids get along great and have been raised pretty much as cousins. We do a lot of things with our kids together. The problem is when I want to spend time with just Shelley, she will bring her daughter without warning and say, "I thought we were having a girls' night." It feels underhanded and intrusive. This has gone on for a number of years and always getting under my skin. I know her husband. He's a bit controlling and doesn't let Shelly go many places without her daughter. He says Shelly needs to take her and teach her to be a girl, whatever that means, since she has all brothers. Plus, we shouldn't be going or saying anything we couldn't in front of their daughter. I feel like if any of other kids get to come, they all should get the option. It shouldn't be just the daughter because she's a girl, excluding my kids because they are boys, and there are more of them. I don't have a problem with the girls at all. She's a great kid, but she's not my friend. I don't want to hang out with a preterm teen. I don't want her hearing what is going on in my life. I don't want her juvenile input into adult situations. And I sure don't want her repeating everything at the middle school lunch tables the next day. I would like my bad guy just saying that, but it's true. It all came to a head when Shelley wanted to take a trip together as a friendiversary or sorts without the kids. Absolutely. I'm all in. Date set, location, visions of toes in the sand with rings in hand, and then she let it slip. That your daughter is coming. I roll, of course, shouldn't have known. I'm out. I politely declined. I told her I didn't think I was going to go. She asked why. I said I thought we weren't bringing the kids. She said it's a girls' trip. I told her either we're taking the kids and mine are included, or it's just adults. Shelley gets super upset and began telling me how disappointed her daughter will be and how her daughter wanted it to be just as girls. Sometimes I just miss my friend, having a drink and talking about inappropriate middle-aged women bullshit without the daughter. If I say that, it hurts Shelley's feelings, and she thinks I don't like her daughter. So I'm at the bad guy for wanting to back out of every social situation every time she includes her daughter. I'm at the bad guy for kicking my roommate out. I was living in a 4-room house, and when my previous roommate moved to New York, I needed to look for someone new. I could afford it myself, but didn't want to pay $2,300 on my own. Finally, I found someone I thought I would get along with, and she moved in right after the one move out. 3 weeks in the new roommate move in, I was already getting frustrated. I worked 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, and I will have to come home and clean up her mess. She works from home, and no matter how many times I ask her to clean up after herself, she still doesn't. I had multiple conversations with her about keeping the common areas clean, like doing dishes, wiping off counters, swiping, folding blankets, etc., and it will never get done. Fast forward, and I thought things were getting better, but that was not the case. I noticed that dishes were starting to go missing. I have 2 different matching sets of 12 of cream and pink plates bowl cups, and all I could find was 2 of each. Asked if she had any in her room or what would happen with them. She said she had a few in her room and she was planning on doing them that night. I said okay, left it all, and went to bed. The next morning, I wake up to the sink full of moldy dishes, and mind you, the dishwasher is empty. This was my last straw. I stormed down the hallway and banged on her door until she woke up. I told her I couldn't stand living in a messy house all the time, and I'm not her mother. If she wants to live with her mom, she could go ahead, but she wasn't living with me anymore. I gave her 2 weeks to find a new place, and we barely spoke and haven't since she moved. So what do you think here?